Notnerd Podcast, Episode 211, The Teenage Years of Technology.
Welcome to the Notnerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you heck better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Ho, ho, hello there, Nate.
Oh, Santa Claus is in the room.
Merry Christmas to you and everyone. And Nate, I have to share with our listening audience this wonderful outfit that you walked in with. You have a T-shirt that has basically a screen-printed belt and kind of a white furry strip, implying that you are Santa Claus. And you have this beautiful, what I call trucker hat, and what you call a net back hat.
Yes.
That, what does it say on the front there?
It says nothing.
Oh, it's two reindeer. It's basically pixelized reindeer and other festivities.
Yes.
And the hat itself is green. Is it the Mexican flag? It's green, white, and red.
Those would also be Christmas colors. Yeah, It's kind of a trucker hat version of a Christmas sweater.
It's very cool.
That I found on Amazon of all places.
Yeah. Anyway, you walked in and it was a delight to my eyes.
Yes. So as this episode releases on Christmas Day, we are fully in the Christmas spirit, wrapping up 2019 as we started talking about the last couple of weeks. But we have got all kinds of stuff. There isn't a lot of major news coming out, but quite a bit of follow-up on various things that we have talked about recently. The first piece, we were just talking last episode about robocalls and getting rid of robocalls.
I hate those things.
And I just happened to see somebody was listening to the podcast and released their new product. Now there's a service called Pepper, and it's callpepper.co is their website. And what they do is they do virtual assistants for phones, so you can have somebody answer your phone calls. But they've got a new service that their tagline is, robocalls will become a thing of the past. And you simply download an app on Android or iOS. You sign up and you get it. It's currently, they've got some 1-week trials going on this. I did not see the pricing on it.
It is $6 a month.
There it is. I did not go down the page far enough this morning. $6 a month. And they have a digital receptionist that'll filter potential robocalls and take care of that.
Now, the way this works is you have to forward your incoming calls to their service, to which they will reroute them back down to you or whatever.
Yes.
So be aware that if you sign up for this, you have to give them your phone number. All incoming calls will go to them, and then they will filter out all the garbage.
Yes. So another solution for that pesky problem. One of the things we talk about quite a bit is cell phone service. Everybody's got to have their smartphone and pay for service. And you got Verizon and T-Mobile and AT&T and then all these other carriers. Well, I was listening to the Clark Howard podcast, a previous pick of the week, and he was talking about a service called Visible Wireless. Now you might be going, yeah, who's this rinky-dink operation? Well, you're not going to really find this out too easily. They do briefly mention it runs on Verizon's 4G LTE network. And it is one of, I believe they have multiple Verizon's kind of lower tier services. Now, the great thing for this, one thing I run into a lot is there are people out there that do not have families for family plans. They have maybe one person. Well, this one, the great thing is they have a full unlimited option for $40 per month. So you get full calls, messages, data on LTE for $40 a month, which I have not seen anything, especially for Verizon's network. Now, in the past, you might be saying, you guys kind of talk a little bit of crap about Verizon. Well, the reason I do that is mostly their pricing. Their network is amazing, but their pricing is expensive. Now,
the value's not there.
Yes. The bonus on this, if you do know some other people that maybe are in the same boat or you have a family, for $100 a month, you can get 4 lines. Now, you might be saying, well, but what about if the billing and charging the other people? You can set up those 4 people on separate billing. That's something that's unique on it, too.
Yeah,
so
that's
let's
very
say
unique.
Todd, for instance, friend of the show, who we've had this discussion before, let's say he had a couple other friends. They all wanted to get a better cell phone plan, full unlimited, $40 a month. But if they had 4 of them, $25 a month. And they're running a promo right now, $25 for your first month. And if you buy a select smartphone, they're giving away Bose Sound Sport free wireless earbuds right now. All kinds of deals.
Oh, wow.
But it looks like it could be a great option for people. Verizon has an amazing network, and this kind of eliminates the pricing issue that we usually bring up when discussing Verizon.
Yeah, so $40 a month individual. The first month is $25. They have a promo. Or you can get a perpetual $25 deal if you team up with 3 other people. And they have a thing for 2 and 3 people as well. I think for 2, it's $35 a month, and for 3 people, it's $30 per month per person. Nice. So it varies.
And it does include mobile hotspot, too. We've talked about that, your pro tip of the week about mobile hotspots, and you might get it with your thing. That's included.
That's great.
We talk a lot about editing pictures. We take a lot of photos with our phones. One application we've talked about is Pixelmator and their Pixelmator Pro app, their updated one.
Yeah, and I was we made the argument before. It's like, what's the difference between Pixelmator and Pixelmator Pro? There doesn't seem to be a lot of features that would warrant paying extra for the Pro version.
Yes, if you already had the normal version.
But these things are starting to change.
Yes, they have released for their Pixelmator Pro application on your Mac their new ML, Machine Learning Super Resolution feature. Now, this will harken back to the Enhance, where you can take a low-resolution photo, and with their machine learning tools, it will actually improve the quality of a photo. Now, I've seen some of their test images. I played around with it a little bit, and it really does make a difference. So if you had an older picture that was taken with a 2-megapixel camera, you could kind of run this through it. And I did a couple tests on my computer because they do have a 30-day free trial, and I think it's $40 or $50 for the full application. Again, which is, what you pay for a couple months of Photoshop subscription.
According to their samples, I haven't downloaded it and tested it myself, but this is kind of a game changer.
Yeah.
I've come across photos before where you're like, oh, something messed up. I lost the original photo, but I have a low-resolution thumbnail.
Yeah.
Or the photo only exists now online on some website, and it's a low-resolution version. Well, you could conceivably download that photo and apply this filter and get a higher resolution, better quality picture back.
Yes.
Of course, it's not ever going to be the original file, but you could certainly improve the look of some of these images. And I do recall a few years back, it's quite a while ago actually, Adobe in their Photoshop suite of applications, they had tried a few of these enhanced type features. If I recall correctly, it was based on emulating an optical zoom. So the software was emulating what like a magnifying lens was doing to make the image look better versus just doubling the pixels.
Yeah.
And so they had some fancy stuff going on, but I haven't seen anything as effective as this. This seems far beyond whatever they were trying to do in the past.
Yes. Quote from their release on it: the ML Super Resolution Network includes 29 convolutional layers which scan the image and create an over 100 channel deep version of it that contains a range of identified features, and they've got some charts and stuff in the link, but it really is with some of the new stuff that they're doing. So this works on a Mac. It's a Mac software, and they have the machine learning and the core machine learning stuff built into the more recent Macs. Really helps them be able to do this quickly and do all these different things. They have some sample images you can download. You can download the app, all that stuff.
Anyway, it's worth checking out.
Yes, it is reigniting my interest in finally breaking my Adobe Creative Suite addiction and just really diving in with Pixelmator for most of the stuff. Most of what I'm using it for is opening a photo, cropping, dialing it in a little bit, and then exporting it to upload for a web page. So you have to compress and do all that stuff. But
I'm kind of regretting not downloading when it was on sale.
I know we had that discussion with Wes as well, who uses the original Pixelmator and does some amazing things with it. And
I have the original too, and it still works fine.
Yes, and they keep updating that one. So Pixelmator, they have iOS applications and Mac applications. Just a reminder to check that out. Well, we have kind of teased and talked a little bit about some of the top lists and over the decade and over the last year. And I actually listened, and kind of watched Twit This Week in Tech did a 3-hour end of the year episode going through the entire decade year by year and kind of some of the major tech stories. But there was an article that I looked through. I'm not going to link to it because BuzzFeed decided to go slightly not safe for work with some of the choices on their things, but it's...
but you can search for it.
Yes, the top 100 memes of the 2010s. So 10 years worth of memes, and there were several in there that I had forgotten about. The Ice Bucket Challenge the Harlem Shake, and then just a bunch of the different memes that definitely made their rounds in the 2010s. Kind of a fun look, a little time capsule of how far we've come over the last 10 years. One article I did want to talk about and kind of go through just because it is What We Do Times top gadgets of the decade. Last week we talked about some of the biggest flops of 2019, but this is the biggest gadgets. And it's hard to believe it was 2010, 10 years ago almost, when the first iPad was released or announced. And just to think tablets and iPads, how ubiquitous they've become. You do most of your work on an iPad whenever you can now.
Yep, I've got my desktop computers and I've got my iPad. So if I'm anywhere but my office, I'm on an iPad.
Yes. 2012, the Tesla Model S. We talk a lot about Tesla, and they really have spurred the electric vehicle movement. The Raspberry Pi, the little devices that
I have one back there I've yet to turn on.
Yes, and I've had a couple that I've done some different things with and some projects, but super small, super cheap computer that really can do quite a bit. The Google Chromecast, which was kind of the first major products in the whole streaming. Before that, you had a lot of wires and a lot of stuff. Of course, now you've got Roku, Chromecast, Apple TV. Everybody's got their different features, but that was a big one back in 2013. And Dave, also in 2013.
How can you forget DJI Phantom? The DJI brand of drones have revolutionized the commercial and professional market of aerial photography and videography. And I love DJI. I love many other brands of drones, but they certainly have paved the way for this whole industry to move forward. And I love their products, and I hope to buy another one very soon as I can save up more money.
Nice.
So here's my cycle, just as a quick sidestep.
Yes.
I save up money, I buy a drone, and then I wreck it. And then I save up money, then I buy a drone and I wreck it. So it's just wash, rinse, repeat.
The holistic cost of that is all over the place. 2014, another one of your favorites, the Amazon Echo devices.
Yes, and stay tuned for a Dave's Tip of the Week involving one of these. So don't turn that dial right now. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yes, the Amazon Echo. I use my Dot all the time. I've got a show on my counter. I've got various devices all over the place that work on this network of devices, and I love it. It's great. It's not for everyone, but it's for me.
In 2015, both of us have on our wrists Apple Watches. It's hard to believe it's been almost 5 years with the Apple Watch now, but I can't imagine life without it. You forgot yours the other day. You were completely thrown off.
I thought about just going home and getting into bed and putting my covers over my head and going to sleep for the day. Yeah, every time I wanted to quickly check the time, I had to pull out my phone.
Yeah.
Every time I wanted to briefly look at an incoming text message, had to pull out my phone.
Yeah.
Many situations throughout the day. We do physical challenges with
the competition.
Competition, yeah. And I couldn't check that. I didn't get any credit for any of my steps. It was murder. Yeah. And another thing that I do with my Apple Watch that I don't really think about it is I use it as a remote control for my music or podcast player, so I can quickly pause or click the next track or do whatever I need to do without having to find my phone or device I'm using. So it's certainly worth the money for me. And again, this is one of those products that's not for everyone, but I sure do miss it if I don't have it.
In 2016, it was the last days of 2016, so it's only been 3 years. The Apple AirPods came out, and of course now the Pro model are out. Elliot just did a review where he was watching The Mandalorian in his tub, and his AirPod Pro fell in the water. He pulled it out, quickly dried it off, and it was working just fine.
Nice.
Your results may vary, but really a game changer for me, getting rid of those wires, and they just work so well.
It's fantastic.
I love them. The Nintendo Switch, man, this is like our shopping list.
It's like
here.
I own almost every one of these products. Nintendo Switch, I bought mine earlier this year, which was like 2.5 years into the product cycle. Of course, they released a cheaper, less capable model a few months ago. But the Nintendo Switch just proves the point that most gamers are not interested in the highest fidelity gaming experience with 4K and all this power. They just want good games on a portable system that can also double as a home system that you can play with your friends. Nintendo's got this formula down pat, and I really enjoy mine, and I've been playing my Switch now more than ever. I kind of had a break during the summer and stuff, but I picked it back up and have played a lot of games, and I'm really having a good time with it.
Very nice. And the last one is the Microsoft Xbox Assistive Controller, which fortunately neither of us need, but this was a big product that really, there's a lot of stuff for assistive with people with differing abilities, and this was a big one for gaming, again, which people love to do, and they had the really cool commercial with the kid playing the games in the wheelchair. And
this really opens up video games to a whole class of people who are not able to enjoy them the way that everyone else is, and this controller levels a playing field, and I think all companies need to make stuff like this. I think it's a great opportunity for people to have a good time.
Nice. Well, yeah, that's some of the top gadgets of the decade. It really, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the last 10 years in the world of technology. I was kind of thinking about it, and it was kind of felt like it was the teenage years of technology. There was a lot of rebelling, a lot of privacy issues, and some great stuff coming out of it. And one thing that I was thinking about over the last 10 years is really a big game changer in technology moving things forward was SSDs, the solid state drives, and getting away from spinning hard drives. But there's been a lot of other advancements as well. But yeah, to the next 10 years. Let's see what happens. Another quick article we'll just look at the top apps and games of the decade. You know, we all have our devices. We're all downloading stuff. Of course, the top 4, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp Messenger, and Instagram. So
I wonder
worldwide,
who owns all those.
Yeah, the top 4 are all owned by Facebook. Then Snapchat after that, Skype, TikTok, UC browser, which that's Alibaba Group, so that's China. They kind of have a lot of people over there, YouTube and Twitter. And then Spend, Netflix is at the top, Tinder, Pandora, Tencent Video, again in China, and some of the other Line over in Japan.
Some of the streaming music and video services.
Yes. And then your games of the decade, worldwide, number 1, Subway Surfers.
I can't believe this.
I played that quite a bit. Number 2, Dave, tell me what's number 2 there, please.
I've never heard of this game. It's Candy Crush Saga. Is that one that you're familiar with?
Maybe. Temple Run 2, and then it goes on to some other games there. But
nothing I'm really that interested in.
No.
So that is the free-to-play dominates the top games of the decade.
So you can look through that article in the show notes. An interesting tidbit, I saw an article this week. Netflix released more originals in 2019 than the whole TV industry did in 2005. They are putting a lot of stuff, as is everybody. Everyone's putting a lot of stuff out there, and there's almost too many options these days. 371 series of original content done by Netflix this year.
What streaming services do you currently subscribe to?
All of them? No, I have Netflix. I have TV, Apple TV Plus, because I get that for free with my phone, and I haven't watched anything really on there yet. And Amazon Prime, as well as YouTube TV, which is what we do the majority of our stuff through.
And for me, it's the same thing, except trade YouTube TV for Hulu.
Yes.
So that's what I use.
Yeah. So that's the TV. We've been talking about it since we've almost been going 4 years on the podcast now, and the cutting the cord and trying to figure out the TV thing, and it is continuously changing.
No, it changes every month. There's new programming. There's programming that's leaving various services. There's new streaming services that just pop up. So it's still a wild west out there.
This is true. Our last piece of follow-up, we were just talking about Amazon and them dominating we're just the U.S. shipping market now. But another interesting piece, Amazon has blocked Prime Marketplace, so people that ship their own products but sell it through Amazon, they are no longer allowing FedEx Ground to be used because the service is so poor, which I have had some mediocre service from FedEx Ground. It's completely different than FedEx Express.
Right.
It's almost a separate company. The drivers are all different. They're paid different.
And I think they partner with a bunch of mom and pop shops around the country to provide the ground service.
Yeah, so Amazon's blocking that. So if that will tell you it is not very good. And
it could also be a power play.
Yeah, well, that's true as they continue to dominate the world.
Yes.
You know what else dominates the world? Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
You know, I couldn't agree more.
Yes.
I look forward to delivering the Pro Tip of the Week each week, and then I turn around and listen to it because I can't get enough.
Yes, give it a try for the first time.
So this week we are going to be talking about Amazon Echo devices.
Yeah.
And I tested this out the other day, and I was just thinking this is a useful tip if you're out and about during the holidays and you're visiting friends or family's houses and you want to spread some Christmas cheer by maybe playing your Weird and Wonderful playlist.
Amazingly Awkward Christmas.
Yes, Amazingly Awkward Christmas, or the one we talked about last week.
Yeah.
DJ
Rico.
Spanky John.
Yeah.
Rico and his Christmas playlist. Well, it's trapped on your phone. Now, the speakers on your phone have gotten better over the years, but they're still kind of crummy, let's be honest. And you don't want to take your Bluetooth stereo thing everywhere and it's like, here, I brought my Bluetooth speaker to listen to Christmas cheer, and those things are limited as well. Well, what if I told you it would be really simple if you go to a home which has an Echo device to simply connect your mobile device to it and play your music through their stereo system, or through their, if it's like me, they're an array of Echo devices throughout my house.
See what pops up.
Yeah, and it's very simple. All you really have to do is approach the Echo device and say, Echo, Bluetooth connect. And it'll be like, all right, I'm ready. Let's connect. You go to your device, you go to the Bluetooth settings, and what do you know? It'll say something like Echo-123XY or something like that. You just tap it, your device pairs, and now the sound from your phone is magically coming out of the Echo device. And if you want to get rid of it and you don't want to connect any longer, you just say, Echo, disconnect from Bluetooth. And that's it. Now, if you have a device connected that has the app on there and all that stuff, you can do these things as well. But that's so complicated. You just want to walk up to it, tell it to Bluetooth connect your phone, play your music, and then you're good to go. So
nice. That is a great little tip as we are visiting people and traveling and everything through the holidays.
And Grandma may have an Echo device but not know how to run it. And so you could just play music right through it.
I like that. Well, our takes of the week, and the first one is related to all these smart home devices. This was kind of some big news. Apple, Google, Zigbee, and Amazon are working on a smart home partnership and kind of an alliance. It's called Connected Home over IP, or CHIP for short, which is very clever. As we know, smart home devices getting different things to talk to different things and making sure they're all working together. It looks like all four of these companies, and probably some of the other ones in the industry, are going to partner up so that things will be able to talk together, work together better. And, some people are saying, well, they're in competition. Why would they work together? Well, they're realizing that you have Apple devices, you've got Amazon devices, you're going to end up with all these different devices. And instead of getting so locked in, it's better to compete on the quality of the product itself instead of what you already have.
And I think it's a mix of different abilities and market shares. So Apple, for example, has a ton of market share as far as their controlling hardware, phones and iPads and computers. But the Apple Home device compatibility is just terrible.
Yeah.
There's like 10 devices that work with Apple Home. Conversely, the Amazon devices are just so ubiquitous. They're everywhere. But how do you control them? Like, I want to hook my iPhone to it, and I have to use the app, and it's just confusing, and there's all these apps you have to install. And so nobody's winning the way they want to. And so they finally decided, let's make a standard, and then we can all have an equal playing field, and our stuff will work together. I think this is something they should have done at the very beginning, but they really haven't been incentivized until now, where it's just such a confusing marketplace that nobody is making a dent in it. So,
and maybe you've never heard of Zigbee in there. You're like, what? I've never heard of this. Well, that's already an alliance, and they include, among others, Samsung SmartThings, Schneider Electric, Signify, which was formerly the Philips, like the Hue lighting, IKEA, which is really making a big play into this, as well as some others. So that this should be a good thing.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
No matter what platform you prefer to use, it should be interoperable between the different manufacturers' devices. So it's a win-win.
Yes. This one was a lose-lose. I saw this story on the local news, and then I got some nationwide tech reporting as well.
Yeah.
Thieves stole $115,000 worth of iPhones from a car at Bridgeport Village, which is just down the street from us. I think we even mentioned it last week. It's a high-end local outdoor mall, which does not make a lot of sense in the Pacific Northwest, but they have little baskets with umbrellas because it rains all the time, but they have an Apple store there. That's the one that I have camped out at or waited in line at many times. They have some video footage, and these people apparently stole some stuff from the Apple store previous to this, but they're watching somebody, and I do not want to victim shame, but having $115,000 worth of phones in your... I was telling somebody, here's my thought. I go into the Apple store, I buy, 100 phones, 115 phones to spend $115,000.
Yeah.
At that point, if I have some other shopping I need to do, if I need to go over to Urban Outfitters and get some vinyl records or something, I'm going to ask one of the Apple employees, hey, could you come stand at my car while I go do this other thing, since I have $115,000, or a security guard,
or leave them in the store and in the back. But I don't want to victim shame either.
No,
this is. I mean, I can see the scenario. You take it to the car. You lock it back. You walk back to the Apple store to get the second bag.
Your car should be fine.
It should be fine.
In a reasonable world. But as somebody who's had their car broken into a couple times and is sensitive to that, for our listeners, the next time you go buy 100 iPhones and put them in your car, do not leave them alone in there.
No.
That's the moral of the story. Not that this person did anything wrong, but it's just like, man, that's a lot of phones, and these people made out like bandits.
Yeah, they did. They are bandits. And I think the other thing, too, is to be aware during the holiday shopping time of year is that thieves come out of the woodwork because it's an easy
They
steal.
know there's plenty of presents sitting in those cars.
My wife, before she was my wife, bought a whole bunch of presents. She lived out in New Jersey at the time, and put them in her car. And she and her friend were doing something. They came back to the car. Back of the window was smashed. All of her Christmas presents that she had purchased that day were gone. And one of them was my present, and I'm still sore about that.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah.
I would be very sore. But, yeah, kind of a crazy story. There wasn't a lot more information, but hopefully they tracked those people down.
Yeah,
the thing with iPhone or most Apple products now, when you steal them, like the people that run in, grab them from the store, those ones they can lock down. But even these, they know the serial numbers. They can track all that stuff. So you're very limited. That's the frustrating thing. They can't go use these iPhones. Most likely when they try to register it, it's going to be flagged.
Yeah.
So they get sold for parts or something like that.
Well, they sell them online to an unsuspecting person.
And then you get a bricked phone that you can't use.
Well, they've got some pretty good pictures of these people, so hopefully they'll be found soon.
Yes. This next take, I actually heard about this from several people that are not tech people at all that were just bringing it up, and it was an article on the highest paid YouTubers of 2019, and everybody goes, there's this 9-year-old kid that made $25 million last year doing YouTube videos of toys, which...
Good on him.
If you're in the know, like I am with a 3.5-year-old, it would be Ryan's Toy World is the one that they're referring to, and they have... they have gone much further than just opening toys and looking at them. His parents are involved, his little sister. They do all these videos. They've got a huge warehouse, like TV set now that they do everything from. He's got a full line of toys. Isla, if you're listening, yes, you have a Ryan surprise egg that you'll be opening this morning for Christmas.
This is amazing that a child, with the help of his parents, can build an empire like this.
It really is crazy. And to be honest, my opinion, he's really nothing special. It's not like he's got this overly dynamic personality. I think it was a case of right place at the right time.
Yep, which is so much of this stuff. Kids today are like depressed and suicidal because they can't be their favorite star on YouTube or Instagram.
Yes.
But they really need to understand that these people are not special. Most of them aren't.
Yes.
Some of them are talented. But
Dude Perfect, number 2. Those guys got some talent. They do some pretty cool stuff.
But it's more about being at the right time and the right place to make this happen. They just got lucky.
Yes, 25, or is it $26 million. Number 2 is Dude Perfect, the guys that do all the crazy trick shots and everything, which are fun to watch for all ages, unlike Ryan. But they did $20 million this last year, and then you get into some other kids and some gamers. And
oh boy, there's some crazy ones.
Yes, but these guys work hard too. They are doing a lot of it. You think, they just turn on their camera and make a video. It's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot of pressure to keep making that $26 million a year.
Then they burn out, and it's time for another rising star to go to the top.
Yeah, so you could be next. Those of you that are friends with me on social media saw a short video of my daughter using the DJ app on my iPad, and so I think I'm going to make her into a YouTube star as a DJ.
Do it.
Security privacy stories of the week. I've got a couple that I'm just going to pump out, but this first one, I wanted to mark it not news, but Dave, I knew that we would need to have a discussion on this.
It is news.
The headline would lead you to believe it's news, and then when you read the article, you would see, in my opinion, differently. The headline says, Facebook accesses your location even when you've opted out. Once you read the article, you learn they are not using the location services that you opted out of. They are using information like when you check in somewhere, they have that information, which if you didn't think that if you checked in at a restaurant that they knew you were at a restaurant or an event, then you are seriously confused.
Yes, but on the surface, one might understand that if I say no, do not log my location, then no matter what you're doing on that device, no matter what service you're using or feature, that Facebook should delete or not, they should honor your request by not tracking that information. But we all know that Facebook is going to do what Facebook wants to do, whether it means putting a silent audio channel that plays through their application so that it can stay on 24/7. They've done that. Yep. They've been accused of that and other things that are very nefarious. And so I think it's right for people to have the expectation, if I say no, don't track it, that it's up to Facebook to implement that across all their features and devices.
Yes. So what this article is talking about is, like on your iPhone per se, there are location services, the GPS, the mapping coordinates, all that stuff.
Right.
And if you opt out of that, Facebook does not have access to that information. But there is plenty of other information that they can give that often we willingly give it by photos with location information. So it is good to be aware that this is happening. If you do not want that tracked, again, you probably shouldn't be using Facebook.
Yeah, this all goes back to that very simple premise. If you do not want Facebook to have every single bit of information about you, the only thing you can do is not use their service.
Yes.
There's nothing else you can do.
Yes. So you can read more on that from 9 to 5 Mac in our show notes. There is a thrilling read. Apple has really updated their platform security information on their website this fall. The nice thing is with Apple, they make it very easy to read and very informative on what they're doing on their different devices and services regarding security and privacy, unlike what Facebook does, which just tries to explain it after they've been caught doing something. Mm-hmm. But it is a fun read, and Apple does really put an emphasis on security. And they have put an emphasis on that emphasis by making a very human readable.
Yeah.
Instead of a bunch of small print to kind of explain how they're doing the different security.
Yeah, it's just a
things
well-formatted, beautifully designed web page that talks about all their security policies.
Yes. And then a couple more. Over 750,000 applications for U.S. birth certificate copies exposed online. So there's a service where you could apply to get a new copy of your birth certificate. If you had lost yours, you needed it for something. Well, guess what? They weren't securing that information. And
I have so many questions after
Yes.
reading this article. One, I am flabbergasted that any non-governmental entity could get access to our Social Security birth certificate.
They don't get access to it. You would apply, so you give them all your information. Then they had ways to go get one ordered for you, so you didn't have to go down to the office, wait in line.
So
do
you're
everything.
making them an agent to do it on your behalf.
Yes.
Oh my word. Anyway, the other thing is how is this information controlled by a company in Spain?
Well,
This is another thing. It's like this information on U.S. citizens is leaving the U.S. soil and being stored and managed elsewhere.
Which was probably not real obvious on your site. Hey, please send your information to
Yeah.
Spain, which I have nothing against Spain, but
Yeah.
they were using Amazon Web Services, a storage bucket there,
Yeah.
cloud storage, and there was no password on it.
Nothing.
So
You could just type in a URL and get access
get
to
that application.
Yeah.
So that
It's
was
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Well, I don't understand. So anyway, I'm a little angry with the U.S. government and all the states in our union for not having a better system to manage this stuff.
Yes.
It's like a third party shouldn't be able to do this type of thing on your behalf.
Well, the problem is the governments make it so hard for you to get a copy of your birth or death certificate that this service was able to become profitable so that you would fill out the application and have them deal with it for you. And so the need for this service shouldn't be the case, but not that our government would necessarily do it.
I can't have a service go down and get my driver's license for me. I would love to not have to
Yes.
go down and wait for 12 hours at the DMV. It's just one of those things.
Yep. Yes. Another one that's almost more ridiculous. Payroll data for 29,000 Facebook employees was stolen. Now, how was this stolen? Somebody from the accounting department.
Were they using the last service, maybe?
Yeah. No, I think they were at Bridgeport Village because an employee took a unencrypted hard drive with all this payroll information and had it sitting in their car, and it was stolen out of their car. I cannot even. They said it was against all policies that this data should have ever left. Payroll data should never be unencrypted in the first place, even if it's locked in the server room
Yeah.
at Facebook. So this person, I'm sure this will be a bad mark on their resume as they're looking for a new job.
It's kind of like this is a wake-up call for the world. When you're a child, you look at adults and you're like, oh, they're running the world. They have everything under control. And then you become an adult and you're like, everyone's an idiot, right? Well, it's the same with these tech companies.
Yeah.
The world is waking up to,
Yeah.
you know what? We thought that IBM and Microsoft and Apple and Facebook, all these people knew what they were doing, that everything is secure. They understand the internet. Guess what? Everyone's an idiot.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to secure their data. Nobody knows how to protect anything. It's just, it's
Well,
out
and it
there
all
for the
comes down to
taking.
humans. Facebook has all these policies in place, and then somebody grabs a hard drive with all this data and leaves it sitting in their car.
Yeah.
And it's not encrypted. It's like, what? How do you?
Yeah. How did the Mongols invade China? They paid off the guards at the Great Wall and just came on through.
There you go.
Yeah.
But to help all of this, Google has expanded their password and phishing protection features in Chrome 79, the latest version. They've had some of these tools, but now they're building them more into Chrome, so you can pick better passwords, and it'll kind of say, hey, this password has been exposed before, and some of the phishing stuff. So Chrome is trying to stay on top of it, as well as some of the other web browsers out there. But yeah, it's the never-ending battle because those thieves are looking for an easy way out, whether it be 115 iPhones sitting in a car in a parking lot or birth certificate applications being stored on an open website. So thank you, Chrome, for trying to help with this.
Yeah, it's a battle.
Our bonus odd take of the week. This was a fun one I came across. CIRA.ca, which is a government organization in our great neighbors to the north, Canada, has released this grouping of stock images that are just very Canadian. There is the guy in the office building with the flannel shirt and an axe, and just
a guy in a moose costume,
yes,
skating around and doing things.
Yeah, so one of those very fun, lighthearted, some hockey players, some Canadian flags, a moose doing various things, but all very Canadian, very lighthearted stock images. Maybe I'll try to get some Canadian clients so that I can use these on their website.
Here's an example of a title of one of these images: "Backpackers enjoying poutine." Yeah. So.
Or moose stalks couple eating poutine. So good. So you can go download those for free and use them in your various projects. Random stuff out there on the internet, if you didn't know that already. You know where else? Sometimes you'll find some very random stuff. Our picks of the week.
And this is a little random, but I teased it earlier. SSDs.
Yes.
You were talking about those. My pick of the week is the Samsung 860 EVO SSD. I have purchased over the past couple years probably a dozen of these drives.
Yeah.
What are they? They are a hard drive for your laptop or your computer, but instead of having a spinning platter with a needle-like device like a record player
Yes.
that reads data off this very quickly spinning disk, they're solid state. SSD, solid state drive. They're like RAM, but they're for storing files. And the performance gains that you get by not having a physical moving disk in your computer are astounding.
Yes.
So if you have an old computer, and we've talked about this before, I know, and you want to upgrade it to an SSD, it's very simple to do on older Macs, a little more technical on PCs, then you can do no better than the Samsung Evo series of drives. They come in 256, 500, 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes. They're a little less than $100 for a 500 gigabyte drive. You can spend as much money as you want on these things, but probably the next one that I'll purchase for my home computer is the 2 terabyte one, which right now is about $250.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to wait for the price to go down a little bit before I pull the trigger on that. But they're great. They're dependable. They're fast and affordable.
Yeah, the prices have been dropping like crazy on those things. And so they are, I will not, for any of my clients, I will not do a computer with a spinning drive anymore. That is where I draw the line. One of the specs is it's got to be an SSD because it is just, when I have to go work on a computer with a spinning drive, it is painful. I was going to look up quickly on Camel, just even on the 500 gig. So over about the last year, they have dropped down from about the $180 range to right now they are $69.99 for the 500 gig. So it is, the prices have come down a lot, and it will make a huge difference. Even if you're doing external storage for backups and everything, please take a look at SSDs. The holistic cost makes sense on so many levels.
Yeah, you could buy one of these and then buy a cheap $12 external case. And you've got an external hard drive that's super fast that holds a lot of data for not a lot of money.
I have done that. I have a 500 gig and a terabyte one because I'm a data hoarder.
Yes.
I will admit it. Well, my pick of the week, Dave, I don't know that this is going to be the best product for both of us, but it is a very cool little product, and since it is Christmas, Dave,
Oh, boy.
I've got a present for you, and my wife and daughter wrapped that up for you.
Well, that looks good. I mean, it's an actual present. I think the last thing I gave you, I just handed it to you.
Yes. Well, they were doing a bunch of present wrapping, so I went the extra mile for you today.
I'm excited to see what this is.
So this was an Indiegogo project, and I'll let you look at mine.
All right.
It is called the Jura. Now,
oh, boy.
It is called an anchor for AirPods. Now, Dave, tell me a little bit about what you're seeing there.
Whew. This is something else. This is a small attachment that plugs into the bottom of your AirPod case in the lightning connector port. Can I pull on this
Yes,
thing?
yeah.
Okay. Yes, and so it's a keychain, and on one end is a faux lightning connector, and then you plug it right into the bottom of your AirPod case. It snaps in very securely, and then you can carry it around on your belt or your keys or whatever without losing it. And I think my son needs one of these.
Yes, it's got a very nice carabiner. I had saw it on Indiegogo. I backed it, and they got it. I ordered it maybe like a month ago, and they shipped them out. Got it before Christmas. I will give a teaser.
I think
a
it's
future
great.
Episode. I have another Indiegogo project that we will be bringing on the show, but I do just carry mine in my pockets. It works very well, but I was thinking, like you're saying, for your son or someone who carries a large purse or something where you could kind of clip it in one spot so you're not having to dig for it all the time.
I think this is great. It's
a very well-built product. Dave, what would you pay for your own Christmas gift?
For my own Christmas, I got to say these are around $10.
Okay, so the price, you said about $10, and I believe that is about what I paid on the Indiegogo. It looks like the retail price is $25.
That's a little high.
Yes, and they're just launching, so I'm guessing that'll probably come down a little bit in the near future as they start to get these out and are able to ship them.
If anything, the carabiner is high quality.
It is. It is
nice.
Really, it's a zinc alloy carabiner, very quality. They've got a couple different color. I went for the kind of the space gray, I think is what they do call this one, or just gray. Very nice little product, and I think it could be very helpful to a lot of people out there.
Very, very cool.
And on the other end of the spectrum of helpfulness, our Ramazan Pick of the Week. We are Amazon affiliates, and we love when you click on our Amazon links so that you can help give us a little kickback. We do so much shopping on Amazon, and then we get a little commission for that off all the great products we talk about. Now, Dave, this one might have been you, and it's probably somebody's Christmas gift. So if you're listening to this before you open your presents on Christmas Day, whoever this is, listeners, maybe wait a little bit if you know your significant others or family members use our links. This is Emoji card game for families, fun card game for kids, emoji party toys, gifts for boys and girls.
This was not me.
So this is a fast-paced emoji card game. Comes in a very nice decorative tin, and then you have these cards that are kind of shaped like a chat bubble with little emojis on them, and you have a game where you're tying to emotions. I'm looking for the official rules here.
Do they spell something that you're supposed to figure out what it says, like the license plate game?
So there is an easy and an advanced level. So here is the only instructions I can find on the Amazon page without going into it further. With my students, this was somebody answering a question. With my students, I use the spot it method where myself or another student flips two cards and the two players have to find the similarity or matching emoji on the card. Whoever answers correctly first gets the two cards. At the end, with the player with the most cards, that's how you say it, wins. So it's kind of a war. Almost a war game where you're doing some matching. You have to find the matching emoji between the cards or the similar ones.
Or like a slapjack type game where you
Yes, exactly.
You win the pile.
Yes. So, Dave, what would you pay? Would you like to see a picture here?
I hate these type of games. I probably would not pay anything. But for the listening audience, oh man, games are kind of expensive. This is $14.99, this thing.
So yeah, it's got the custom shaped tin. It's got these nice cards. It's very colorful. It does have 4.5 stars on 158 ratings. It's got an A rating on FakeSpot. Now that I can use my Chrome plugin and see that.
Nice.
Dave, what would you pay?
I think $14.99.
$14.99.
Sticking on that. Yeah.
That is the list price right now. You can get it for $12.49.
Wow.
Amazon Prime, which that's a great price. If you get some fun out of this, get the family together and play a game, try it out. Well, we are going to wrap this episode up before Christmas does arrive because we're going a little long here, and our families are probably going to be expecting us at some point. But thank you. Merry Christmas to all, and a Happy New Year. We will have a new episode on New Year's Day as well, where I think maybe we'll look forward into 2020 a little bit and see what our plans are and what our thoughts are. But thank you again for listening as we wrap up 2019. Now get out there and tech better.
And we're out. All right, good show, everybody. Great. Nice.
That's a wrap. Pop the champagne.